Hello.
Hi, welcome back.
Welcome to Ask an IBCLC. I'm Ashleigh from Wisco Lactation.
Sorry, I got ahead of it.
You're
good. Wisco Lactation.
Yeah,
we're here to help you feed your babies.
Yes, awesome. Today we're going to talk about pretty simple question like how often to feed the baby.
Yep.
Which is a pretty common question, especially right after the baby is born.
Yep.
We do talk about this in our Infant Feeding 101 class, which is every month virtually. So feel free to join us in for that if you have a lot of prenatal questions sort of along these lines. So how often to feed the baby?
Yeah, so I feel like for most babies, they eat really frequently.
Very.
We talked about this in another video, but breast milk metabolizes really quickly in their system. So they need lots of feedings really frequently.
Yeah.
And they don't need a lot of food. But I usually say, newborns should be eating about every, 8 to 12 times a day, usually about every 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah. I would say for a newborn, like 8 times a day is on the low end.
Minimum, for sure.
Yeah, they're usually somewhere around 10, 11, 12 times a day.
Yeah.
So yeah, and when I talk to my prenatal clients about this, some of them are actually shocked that babies eat that often.
All that time.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the feedings are more clustered together. Like you might get a little bit of a longer stretch and then they're really, really clustered and then go a little bit longer and then a little cluster.
Yeah.
And that's really normal too. It's not every 2 hours on the nose.
Right.
Yeah.
I will talk a little bit about though in the first couple of weeks, making sure that the baby is being woken up to eat because there's a lot of interventions that happen in birth that make babies a little bit sleepier.
For sure.
And
they have to learn to work for their meals that they've never had to do before.
Never, ever before.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And oftentimes they lose a little bit of weight after birth, and that makes
which
them
is
kind of
normal.
sleepy.
Yep.
For sure.
But, yeah, so...
waking them up until they're back to their birth weight.
Yes, until they're back to birth weight is what we usually say.
That's when? About 2 weeks, I find.
Yep.
Most babies want to
usually by about 2 weeks, sometimes a little bit less depending on the baby.
And if you're feeding them really frequently, it's going to help them get back to their birth weight faster. It's going to help prevent jaundice and engorgement and all of the things we're trying to avoid.
Yep. So yeah, in the beginning, it's about 8 on the low end, 12-ish on the higher
400.
end.
Every baby is a little bit. No,
right. And then as they get older, though, I do give people a glimmer of hope. Like they're probably not always going to be eating 12 times a day.
For sure.
We work with some families that are close to the toddler ages where babies might even be eating twice a day, but also eating solid foods and things like that. So
and they get more efficient too. Feedings aren't going to last as long as they do in those newborn periods. As you're both learning, they'll be 4 months old. Hop on for a couple minutes. Hop off, go play.
It's amazing, and I love getting those older babies in the office because it's so fun because they're so interactive, but they're also so good at nursing.
Yes,
like they're just pop on and pop off, or they'll pop on and then they'll smile,
like milk is coming everywhere.
So
it's amazing. I love it.
It's totally milk drunk and just so happy. So
really
so there is a light at the end of the tunnel if you're at the early days and you're like feeling that weight of those 10 to 12 times a day. I promise it's not always going to be that hard.
And if you're feeling like something is wrong, we're feeding 12 times a day for an hour at a time.
Red flag.
Major red flag. Babies, never satisfied when they're at the breast. They're not back to their birth weight by 2 weeks. Like there's all these things that you may not realize are red flags until you talk to a professional. So that's why, we're here to help kind of guide you through this process.
Yeah. So if you want to sign up for our prenatal class or you want to book a prenatal consult or a consult for after your baby is here, you can do so on our website, www.wiscolactation.com. And we'd be happy to help.
Love that. Yeah. Reach out if you need anything at all.
Bye.
See you next time.